Expectations. We have expectations of ourselves, and we have expectations of others. And I'm going to talk a little bit about expectations of others this morning. God, I can say it's one really good thing. That when I stopped putting expectations on other people, I shouldn't say, I didn't do it and then it was like over forever. Okay, sometimes it still comes back. So I'll say it like this. When I stopped putting expectations on other people, they surprise me in the most wonderful ways. And this is an ongoing experience. So today the lesson is about letting people be. Letting people be who they are. Not trying to change them. Not trying to control them. Not trying to get our agenda taken care of. You know, I'm just going to say this right off the bat here. Our agenda can, our personal agenda, our ego agenda, our small self agenda, it can never be taken care of because there's always something else that it wants. So no matter what, no matter, you know, so it's like this. Sometimes I have thoughts like this, and then when I say them out loud, I realize how ridiculous it is. I say, well, you know, if people would only act right, then everything would be okay. I don't know what's wrong with them. Why don't they get themselves together? So, to release expectations, to accept people as they are, to actually not have any need to change anyone. Oh, I know. We observe from time to time. Here's generally how it works is what the psychologists say is going on is we are having this inner experience that we are projecting out into the world, and so we observe shortcomings in others that actually have to do with something going on inside us. They could be shortcomings that we have ourselves, or something we're afraid of. Those are the two things. Those two things occur, and some people just forget about the second thing, about being afraid of. When somebody says to you the reason that you're upset with that other person is you see something in them that, is in yourself. That's not necessarily true. But you see something in them that causes fear, which is in yourself. So to extend ourselves to these other people, to feel our connection growing stronger, rather than focusing on the differences between us, to release any need to judge or punish them. Well, we have a national pastime. It's not just a national pastime, it's a worldwide pastime. Everybody is sitting around. I'm sorry, I'm sure that there's some holy ones in here who are not doing this. But for the most part, we sit around sometime during our day with a tally sheet, noticing all of the negative and bad and not quite proper things that other folks are doing, and then we gauge them as to what, and we compare and we talk about it. A couple weeks ago, I did some quotes from Eleanor Roosevelt, and one of the things she said was, she said, small minds discuss people. Average minds discuss events. Great minds discuss principles. And so, listen, I'm just going to tell you, my mind has been and continues to be from time to time in all three of those states. I want to get more to the principle side. I want to work on that. I want to get more to the principle side. I want to desire only good to come to others, even when they've done something that I think is bad. It's a sticking point, isn't it? I've made the judgment now already. Something bad should happen to them. No matter what, any day of the week, any time of the day right now, you can just go turn on CNN, and you'll see something on there that will be very easy to send condemnation to whoever the particular villain of the story happens to be. Now, I'm not saying, I don't want to get it confused, I'm not saying that we should just put up with bad behavior. I'm just saying that we don't have to hold on to it in our hearts. I'm just saying that it would probably be better if we could have a prayer seeing all of us free from whatever it was that caused that person to do the thing and whatever it was that caused me then to judge them. Just saying. As the practice unfolds, my need to control fades. I find it easier to allow people to make their own decisions. This is like the key to it, to allow people to make their own decisions. The fourth thing that I tell people in the wedding ceremony that we do is to not make decisions for each other, but be self-governing. So this is the key to it. To not think you need to make, and this is, when we get closer our relationship gets, the more somehow we think we have license to make decision for the other person. And we have justification for when they don't go along with the program. So to not make the decisions for the other person. But, see here, so that's freedom, right? That's freedom. I'm going to be free to make my own decisions, and my lover, my partner, my friend, they're free to make decisions for themselves. But the second piece that goes along with this freedom is this thing called responsibility. So I'm free to make my decisions. I'm free to do whatever it is that I want to do, and so are you. But we are responsible for what happens next. When we make the decision, we're responsible. And so it's probably a good idea if we take a moment and decide as we move forward on this decision whether or not what I'm about to do, whether or not what we're about to do is for the good of everyone involved. If it's not, I should probably take a little bit more time and consider, right? So when I can get to this place in my mind, I don't have to feel threatened anymore. And not only do I not have to be threatened, but I don't have to have my loved ones with me every minute. Like this is something can happen in this neediness, is that I'm getting upset when people are leaving. I want them to be right there, or at least I want to know exactly where they're at and what they're doing. We just let all of that stuff go. I mean, after a certain age, kids get to be autonomous. They grow up, right? And over time, we give them more and more autonomy with responsibility so that they make good decisions. And when they don't, we allow the consequences to occur. Appropriate ones, I hope. So I can let them go. I can let them do what they desire. And this is like the key to this whole thing, to be happy for their happiness. To be happy for the happiness of someone else. I'll say two things about this. This is a problem that comes up over and over again in counseling. People want their spouse to do what they want them to do, and they get upset, jealous, all sorts of different reactions come when their spouse does what the spouse wants to do. I'm saying, okay, just for example, if you have a wife who loves to fish, and you don't like to fish, and she wants to go fishing, shut up. Let her go fishing. And then be happy for the fact that she's happy while she's fishing. And if you have a husband who likes to ride mountain bikes, be happy for him riding mountain bikes. And say, here's how I explain it. I can go for a bike ride anytime I want, except if it's somebody's birthday or something. Right? So we've got to be able to decide whether or not my bike ride is going to interfere with something that actually jeopardizes the common welfare. So happy for the happiness of others. This also shows itself it's the antidote to envy also. Not just jealousy, but envy. So that when we see someone else who is right now experiencing some good fortune, when I'm in a bad state of mind, I look at that good fortune that they're having and I somehow get a resentment that they don't deserve that. I should actually have whatever that happens to be. Somehow I'm getting cheated because they are. This happens when we see large salaries paid to CEOs of companies. Right? So now, I'm not saying it was a good decision for the company to pay this huge, large salary to the CEO, but I can still be happy for his happiness or her happiness. Right? I might, if I was sitting on the board, I might say, we could probably use that money better somewhere else, but I'm not going to be mad at the CEO, right? Even if it's, so, okay. So, what happens when we start thinking this way is harmony begins to enter our lives. Harmony is already there. We just start noticing that things are harmonious. So personal life, business life, social life come into harmony. So we start new days with concerns about what may happen. Some days it's almost overwhelming, all of the things in our minds that have to be done, and there's this list of things, and we just stop for a moment. Just stop for a moment and find our peace by turning our attention to the presence of God, to what I said at the beginning, this great love that is within you, between you, and all around you. This is the presence of God. To turn our attention to that presence, to relax, release, to let go, to focus. This breath is so, just that practice of returning to the breath, anytime something seems overwhelming, to be able to return to the breath just settles things right down. The more we practice, the better it gets. And from this calm place, we realize that God is always there, just waiting for us to notice. And I'm talking about in the other person that's in front of us, who heretofore we may have been judging, in the circumstances that are unfolding around us, which perhaps we thought were trying, that God is there if we turn our attention. To put first things first. To put our good characteristics in front of our personality. When we deal with others, this is a simple thing, to be kind and responsive. I have a friend who just had surgery, and he's got somebody over there taking care of him, and he's mean as hell. I mean, he's yelling at everybody. I mean, he's uncomfortable, right? He's uncomfortable. He just had surgery. He's not feeling good. He's in pain. But he's kind of terrorizing the caretakers. So when I was talking to him on the phone, he's going through all this. He's going through this long list and litany of all the reasons that they aren't living up to his expectations. I said, they're not you. Just try this one thing. Be kind. Be kind. He said, but I'm this. I said, I don't care. Be kind. Just try it. Just try it and see what happens. To be kind. To be responsive to what happens with that other person that's in front of us. And this, of course, the inner guide, this still small voice, that what I send out this morning, I said, my small self is like a dark cloud in a big blue sky trying to block the sun. There's a still small voice within me that my ego self is trying to drown out. And it is trying to tell me what to do. What to do that is for the best for me and the best for everyone else. But I have to listen. I have to listen for it. I've got to get that raucous cacophony of complaining and controversy and conflict that's running around in my head. I've got to just gently release it, move it out. To recall that the most important thing is that we reconnect with love. Life is in harmony. Things are working for good. So we're free. We're free from repression. Now, okay, this one's controversial. I'm going to put it out there anyway. This particular one was written quite some time ago. I don't know how it found its way back in here, but I'm free from repression. I do not allow old negative ideas about my body to hold me back. Let me just say, your body is neutral. Your body is neither good nor bad. Your body does what your mind tells your body to do, even though you think that it doesn't. It does. But there's nothing wrong with your body. The perfect child of God and the yearnings of the body are in harmony with creation. Just don't let that self-centered stuff get in the middle of it. To look beyond the seeming barriers, to keep an open mind and our thoughts focused on love, to remember that the body can be a communications device. A device that communicates love. I'm not bound by a particular lifestyle. I have the strength of mind and the faith to step out, to move onward and upward in my freedom. Through my prayers, I am aware of the presence of God and how that presence connects me with all others. And I am no longer willing to be the victim of my own habitual negative thinking or the opinions of others. I let go of the past, my own and everyone else's. Boy, if we could do that for about 2 or 3 minutes, be feeling pretty good. I'm able to move forward because I'm free and unlimited through the Spirit that is within me. Here, let me find this. I knew I was going to. I tried to, I don't know why it didn't print. Didn't print. So what? It's right here. Okay. So, to let go does not mean to stop caring. It means I can't do it for someone else. To let go is not to cut myself off. It is the realization I can't control another. To let go is not to enable, but allow learning from natural consequences. To let go is to admit powerlessness, which means the outcome is not in my hands. To let go is not to try to change or blame another. It is to make the most of myself. To let go is not to care for, but to care about. To let go is not to fix, but to be supportive. To let go is not to judge, but to allow another to be. To let go is not to be in the middle, arranging all the outcomes, but to allow others to affect their destinies. It is not to be protective. It is to permit another to face reality. It is not to deny, but to accept. It's not to nag, scold, or argue, but instead to search out my own shortcomings and correct them. It is not to adjust everything to my desires, but to take each day as it comes and cherish myself in it. Not to criticize or regulate anybody, but to try to become what I dream I can become. To let go is not to regret the past, but to grow and live in the moment. To let go is to fear less and love more. To let go and love and let God is to find peace and remember the time to love may be short, at least in this experience. So to be open-minded in our relationships with others. So easy for all of those judgments to come to us. To be open and receptive to new ideas, to be quiet for a moment. Just let doubt fade away. To come to that place of peace where we can share freely, where we can open ourselves up to new ideas. If it's true, which I believe it is, if it's true, And everyone who comes to us has a gift, and we have a gift for them. The only way to figure it out is to be open. We can't let all of those contrasts and all of those conflicts get in the middle of this. To be open-minded, but also to be judicious. So when I'm open and receptive and trusting, it doesn't mean that I just spill everything on my mind out to anyone who comes in front of me. Where it's appropriate, I share what's going on with me. Where it can be helpful, I want to share. But we don't just spit up all of this stuff onto everyone that comes. That's neediness. I decide when and with whom I will share. I do not want to burden people who may not understand, or those who may not have the present ability to help me. I want to be open, but I do not want to scare anyone. So we trust guidance. We lead us to the right person at the right time. And we know what to say. We know when to say it and with whom. Let me read this. Oh, that one's kind of long. I wrote this. I was thinking about how sometimes this autonomy, man, it's sometimes, especially in close relationships, it is very difficult not to have some kind of expectation. And I hope I can remember it, but I'll tell it. I was feeling, the name of the poem that I wrote is called In Love. And it starts out something like this. On the outs, feeling neglected and unappreciated. Why wish for something that is always there? Go to your darling.